Hello guys, Kevin Rudders, Bobby Garland TV. It's been a great summer, been hot. We're here at the 1st of September, so it's coming to an end. Fall's coming soon. We've had this deck completely clear, no rod racks, no trolling poles, no nothing for 3 months now. And that's all getting ready to change. We are headed to the trolling state in the Union. We are headed to Mississippi next week. We're headed to famous Grenada Lake. So I'm going to walk you through. We're going to be pre-fishing for the American Crappie Trail. Matt Beckman and myself, he'll be my partner. First time fishing a national tournament trail without my father, so this will be interesting. He's got plans, he can't go, so Matt's going to fill in. I'm going to walk you through. This is 2 weeks prior. We're still 2 weeks out, and more like 9 days. Walk you through what it takes to get this boat ready to go down to Mississippi compared to what we've been doing. We've been one pole jig fishing. That's my passion. I love it. Everyone says I'm not a troller. I've actually won 2 major tournaments in my life, 2 Crappie Masters events, actually slow trolling out of the front of the boat. My passion is one pole fishing, but I am a tournament crappie angler. So my love for tournament crappie fishing outweighs my hatred for trolling. I don't hate trolling. I prefer one pole fishing. So if you're going to Mississippi, you best have 8 rods out the front of your boat with 16-foot rods. That's how it's going to be won. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to get this thing set up and get ready to go to Mississippi. Follow along with us. Check out the drift paddle, something very cool for spider rigging. We said spider rigging, slow trolling. If you guys don't know what that is, hopefully this video will walk you through exactly what that is. We're gonna put on our drift paddles now. I haul them all the way down the lake, or all the way down the road, all the way to the lake. They don't flop or fly around. They get a little Velcro strap. Very important, very cool tool if you're slow trolling out the front of the boat. Let's keep going. Keep on going. Keep showing you everything it takes to go slow trolling in Mississippi. But the biggest crappie in my entire life, 3-pounders. I've only caught 6 legitimate 3-pounders that were weighted on the scale. Right, everybody catches 3-pound crappie until they weigh them in. They all came from Grenada, Mississippi. They all come slow trolling out of the front of the boat. Yes, I'm a one-pole jig fisherman. That's how my biggest crappie come. Let's keep going. The trolling racks that we use, they're individual. We'll talk about them when we're trolling. I'll leave those 2 off, put them in the rod locker until we get down there because the trolling motor won't latch all the way with those. And then I also carry a spare in here in case one breaks. So now time for the major weapons. Time to load up our rods. 16-foot trolling poles. Keep going. Okay guys, I got the rods loaded up. Pretty cool. This one bad thing about these rods is how you transport them. And people transport them all kinds of different ways. This has been the best way for me, right here. This little rack. Set them up here. There's another bracket that goes right here, but I don't use it. I'm going to show you a little trick that I do. And I don't set them back here because I'm getting ready to show you another trick that I do. I don't like it scratching my fiberglass right here. So just set these rods in here, offset them like this, and they sit in there nice and neat. Strap that down, you can even lock it. So let me show you the next trick. that I use for transporting these things, because you're going a long ways. I even do this. Let me go get these little things to show you how to do this. Okay, and here's how I transport them, just like this. I use these little straps here, actually a piece of tie wire just coated in rubber, and I tie it around here, and that thing becomes solid. I mean, you can see that. I give it a little strap down here so it doesn't bounce as much going down the highway, and I don't put them individually here. So I put them all over to the side so that it doesn't rub this fiberglass right here when I'm going down the highway. So there's the rod transportation right there. That's how I do it. Just wrap that up, make it one solid piece. I just put a swivel on the end of these for now. Now I may not fish with a swivel, but a lot easier to travel. I mean, I'm going 8.5 hours. The last thing you want to do is get there and fight these things. I can just take these out real easy, rig them up when I get there, and start fishing, but I got to get there. It's better than putting the rods together. Now I never take these rods apart anymore. I will actually wrap them with these little cords, little bungee cords here, and throw them up in my attic when I'm not using them in the summer and in the dead of winter when I'm one pull fishing. So there it is, guys. That's what it takes to get ready for this, this spider rigging. It's quite a bit. Rod racks to rod transportation. I actually take 16 different rods. I have 8 on one side and 8 on the other, and we'll run double minnow rigs on one side, jigs on one side, swap it up, maybe use road runners and troll with them, and we'll talk about that here. So follow along with us as we head down to Mississippi. We'll give you some video along the way, show you what it's like to go fish one of these tournaments. This isn't like fishing in our backyard. We're going 8.5 hours to a lake we haven't been to in, geez, I'd say 2 years, since the last time Crappie Masters Classic was there 2 years ago. We have not been back. So we're going to go slow trolling, walk you through how we do it. We're not the greatest in the world. Matt Beckman is not a troller by no means. He's one of the best jig fishermen in the world. So this will be interesting for him to see how we do this. We're going to actually fast troll. We're going to troll out of the front of the boat with a big egg sinker, giant 1 to 1.5 ounce egg sinker with 2 jigs tied, one up and one down. And we're going to push them jigs out the front of the boat. And we're going to click her on along around 1 mile an hour to 1.4 mile an hour and just go and follow contours and ditches down there in Mississippi and see if we can't get the rod to go right in the water bowl in these big giant 2-pound Mississippi crappie. So follow along, this will be fun. Slow trolling, spider rigging. I forget when I'm doing these videos that most folks have never done this before. So there's a lot to this. It's a great way to catch fish. Some people hate it. They despise it. Other people, it's the only way they fish. I'm in the middle. I fish any way the tournament can be won. I'm a tournament crappie angler. So however the tournaments can be won, that's how I want to be fishing. And I know in my mind, if it's not one slow trolling out the front of the boat, it'll be one crankbaiting. But I believe it'll be one trolling out the front. Let's go. Mississippi bound, home with a 3-pound crappie. We made it. Grenada, Mississippi.
Land of the giants.
Land of the giants. There are some big crappie in this lake. And here we are. You don't usually see this in the front of our boat. We got 2 minnow buckets, cooler. We'll explain what all this stuff is for as we go throughout the day. We got 16 foot rods in this boat. So we're gonna go try to slow troll. We'll walk you through our setup as we go along this thing. Let's go. Alright guys, setup. Worst part of trolling in my opinion. Get all these rods and get them set up here. So follow along. We'll get this set up and we're going to. We've picked ourselves just a flat right here. Fishing about 8 to 9 foot of water. And we are going to just slow troll right across this thing. See if we can't pick up some of these giant Grenada crappie. Okay, we're set up. Trolling. 4 things we need to figure out: how deep of water the fish are in, what type lure or bait they want, speed they want, location. So it's all trial and error until you actually catch one. We have 8 different rods in the water. A lot of people, I don't know, misconception, a lot of people when they think of spider rigging or trolling out in front of the boat, they automatically think that you have to use straight minnow. That's not the case. I don't know why some folks think that. You can use any bait in the world. You can use 1/4 ounce lead heads by themselves. You can use 32nd ounce lead heads. It's what we have on today. We have an egg sinker and a 32nd ounce head, one up above and one below. So with a minnow. So, and we will try all different type Bobby Garland baits on here until we find the color that they want. So trial and error. We have minnows in the boat. Mississippi is a lot of fish get caught on minnows. Oh, there's our first fish of the day. There's a good one too. Matt's gonna dip at that for us. Look at that.
Woo! Biggin.
Woo, that is a big one.
That is
Caught our first fish. I'm holding the camera in my hand because I forgot that's a big one. That's a nice crappie right there. Ooh. Looked like I was hung up. Let me get that, Matt. Gosh dang, that was a mess.
biggin.
That is a big one. Here's what we do, and then let's explain this to them. So, explain the whole process to you here. So we got this cooler, and Matt right now is just going to stick it right there. We're going to turn around, and we're going to get re-rigged, right? So that was a good one right there. We need to mark that. I'm going to mark a waypoint. So we got our first fish in the morning. I'm going to power pull down. Put those power pulls in the water. It's gonna be shaky. I'm trying to hold this. Of course, I'm a fisherman. I forgot the tripod. So we caught our first fish. We have our first pattern, and he just it looked like I was hung on a stump. I marked it. It's close to where we caught one yesterday. Yeah. So a lot of stuff just happened there. We just caught a fish with one hand. Matt, we use a tip net, so we have a rig. That one actually came on a 3-way swivel with a bladed jig up top and a bladed jig down bottom, and a stinking straight minnow. So we're going to take that off. We're going to try all kinds of different baits today. One of the best baits here in Grenada is the stroller, because we're gonna move fast too. We got to find the speed these fish want to go. That one was only going about 0.4 mile an hour, but we'll try some of these strollers in Gold member, Grenada Gold, and figure out what they want. We use a dip net because we have so many different knots tied on. You have a knot tied to the 3-way swivel. You have a knot tied to each jig head. You have an egg sinker in there. You're using monofilament, and we'll explain why. And so that's why we dip net them, especially a big fish like that. We'll weigh this fish here in a minute, let you guys see it. How white was something that, and I posted a picture on my Facebook, how white these crappie are. It's because the water's dirty, dingy. The sunlight didn't penetrate it, so they don't have any pigment on their skin. Their Grenada crappie have always been white to me. So kind of a mess there. And this is what spider rigging is. It can be a mess. Like Matt said this morning, this takes a lot of patience, which we don't have as jig fishermen. We want to stick a jig down there, we want it to bite, and we want to flop him in the boat. But this takes a lot of patience. People, oh, you're just spider rigging. Some people hate this stuff. Some people despise it. I mean, you come down here to Grenada, Mississippi, I don't know of another way to catch them. You can catch them in the springtime up on the bank, doodle socking and fishing around the flooded stuff. But this is September. We're down here fishing American Crappie Trails tournament, and these fish are just out of here wandering. They're not even relating to anything so far. So
Pick up them poles.
Poles are hung up. Yeah. So our power poles hit a stump. Pick them back up. Those drift paddles, we're going with the wind. I think it's important to go with the wind. I've heard a lot of these serious trolling guys say that crappie relate facing into the wind. So because they're waiting for the shad or the bait or the plankton to float into their face, so they'll face into the wind. So we go with the wind, put the power poles down, and just do a slow drift. So individual single rod holders. Years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, when we started fishing, we'd have a T-post, and one of these rods would get hit, and you wouldn't know which one to grab. So these tight lock Captain Coleman rod holders are.
Yeah, as you can see it, if one hit it, that's the only one that bounces, and none of the rest of them move.
And they are made. You can adjust these things any direction you need to go. Very awesome, very, very awesome rig there. So this trolling down here in September in Grenada, I said in one of my posts earlier, it can be some of the most frustrating fishing I've ever had in my entire life. But can also be amazing. So you feel you'll go for an hour and not catch fish, and all of a sudden you'll catch a giant. We're gonna get the scale out and weigh this thing. We'll see how much he weighs. Okay. So what we do, let's explain the cooler to them. What we do is, you can't catch a fish if these rods aren't in the water. Right, so we learned this from the guys that are good, the good trollers in the world, the Kyle Shoners, the Ronnie Capps, David Cox, these guys that are just amazing at trolling. Take that fish, get him off the hook, put him right back here in this cooler, get your rod back in that rod holder, and now we're trolling again. We got 8 rods out the front of the boat. That's what we're allowed in this tournament, and we're back trolling. Okay, everything's calm. Now let's weigh that fish,
Hey,
man.
you didn't say I was one of the best trollers?
I didn't say that. So we have our scale here. Now you're going to have to do that there. Here, take the whole thing. That's a good crappie. Anywhere. Oh, I don't know. It's getting bigger, bud. It's getting bigger. What you got? Oh, my goodness. It's so close to being 2 pounds. 196. That is a big one. That is a big one. 196. Eats another shad. That's a 2 pound Grenada fish. Look at its belly. A giant crappie. It's our first fish of the day, guys. And we were in 8.9 foot of water. Beautiful, beautiful fish. Put that in. I want a picture with that guy. Wow. So then what we do, and that's how we do. We stick them in there so we can both sit up here in the front. Both got seats. Trolling out the front, and we're just going to keep trolling on this flat. And every time, very important, I think the mapping system on the Lowrance down here at Grenada is absolutely amazing. And we make a waypoint, and we'll just hopefully in tournament day we can come back to these waypoints, troll in the similar areas where we caught them, and catch more fish. Gosh dang, that's fun. Yeah, you don't see us in the front of the boat with a dip net very often, but down here there's too much going on. You get one on that front. We had one on the front rod yesterday, came across here and got all 5 hooked up. You get that dip net out there and get them, and you won't have such a mess. It's gonna be a mess no matter what. So there you go, bud. There's one tournament fish. That is a tournament fish anywhere in the country.
Let's get another one.
196 is a big one. Whew. All right. Okay, guys. Sorry I'm holding this thing. Fishermen make the worst cameramen ever because all they care about is setting the hook on his rods instead of getting this on video. But I want you guys to, you folks that don't know about the slow troll and the spidering, I want you to learn in this videos. That's what these are for, right? That's why we do Bobby Garland TV, so everyone can learn. And again, Matt and I are not professional spider riggers or trollers, and people say I hate trolling, I hate spider rigging. That's not true. I'm just not very good at it. I prefer one pole jig fishing. I like to hold the rod in my hand to see it, to feel the thump. But I've been doing this a long time. I've won a couple Crappie Masters events doing this. A lot of top 10s. I mean, it's a way people say, oh, you never do that. I absolutely do. I love tournament crappie fishing more so than it outweighs my hatred for trolling. How about that? So I'd rather, if I know this tournament is going to be one slow trolling with these long rods, that's what we need to be doing. So I learned a long time ago, you can't come in and try to jig at Grenada and win a tournament. It's never going to happen. The reason for the long rod, see if Matt catches one here. These are 16-foot rods, and what it does, it keeps the rods way out in front of where this trolling motor or the boat's going to be. So you get to the fish before the boat does, and you don't spook them. And right here, we're up in 7.8 feet of water, and you can spook them pretty easy. So that's the idea of these long rods, get them out in front of the boat. Monofilament. We use monofilament on every one of these spinning reels, and we use spinning reels so you have a drag, because you want this drag to strip once you get hung up or once you get one in your hand. Monofilament, you want the stretch in these waves. I mean, it's windy out here. You want the rods. You don't, if you had braid, it'd be popping so quick because there's no stretch. Therefore, you want monofilament when you're actually trolling. Complete opposite. This is the complete opposite of the other videos we've done down in Texas and Truman, all those places where we're one pole jig fishing. Whole different setup. This is, I say this is like a scientist. This is all about knowing how to fish this stuff. This is not easy. Everybody says this and say, oh, you're just throwing a trot line out across the lake and going. Well, go try it. It's not that easy. This is the guys that'll win this tournament will have it dialed in, and it'll be specific, their depths, their baits, their speeds. It'll be a fine piece of artwork when they win it. It's not just throwing out 16 minnows or 16 Bobby Garland baits and going across there and winning. There's a lot more to it than that, that's for sure. When you first look at it at first, yeah, you can say that, but until you come out here and do it, try to compete, these guys are good at it. So we're here all week, Matt and I. Our tournament starts on Friday and Saturday. I'll keep doing videos. Look like it may rain on us, so I'll put this camera up. Hopefully we'll get some good shots of us catching some fish. I'll get the GoPro out and we'll try to get you some footage of these giant Mississippi crappie. We've had a lot of trial and error today. We have tried a lot of different baits. We have 7 crappie that weigh 1252, which is pretty stinking good for September. Those are some big crappie. Probably not big enough to win, but for us, that's a huge weight. We've tried deep, we've tried shallow, we've tried going slow, we've tried going fast. I mean, look down here between Matt's legs, look at all these baits. Trial and error. I mean, we just get them out. What we have found, smaller baits have been catching our fish. Big, tipped with a big minnow. They've been tipping every single thing with a minnow, but the bait has to be little. What color you got out there, Matt? You got, show these people this rig. Bring that thing in here. Here you go. Yeah, so he's got a little bitty 32nd ounce orange head. Uh-oh. Oh. Whew. And a white 2-inch slab slayer tipped with a minnow. And it comes down to a bell sinker and then a 3-way swivel up here. Up here, 3-way swivel, and then another. He's got a bare minnow coming off that. A lot of times in the summer, bare minnow catch a lot of fish, but uh-oh, there's one. Oh, he's flying them out. Look at this guy. Reel that up. He's got one. Trial and error. Guys, day 3. Grenada, Mississippi. Let's see if we can't get you one of these fish on film. Kind of hard. We need the camera to be about 10 foot high looking down on this thing. Slow trolling, going through a stump flat right now. Stumps, cypress stumps everywhere. 10 foot of water. Fish are about 7 foot down, and they are eating this morning. We have 3 over 2 pounds already this morning. Hopefully we'll share some pictures. Put them up on the side here in the video. Again, slow trolling. We have found a 32nd ounce lead head is the ticket. I mean, by far we've tried quarter, 8, 3/16. We've tried everything. And they're liking a little bitty blade. And tubes, smaller tubes. We have our depth down. We found the speed that they like. They like going 0.6 miles an hour, just covering water. I mean, you think, man, they're never going to bite again. All of a sudden, you'll catch one of those giant Grenada fish. So we've been lucky. Grenada is a big, wide open lake. The wind is not blowing. The wind cannot be your friend. Boat control when you're spider rigging or you're trolling out the front is everything. It's critical. We have a all-Trex trolling motor, and it's pretty cool because it's power steering, so the head doesn't move on you. Oh, there's one. Oh, little bitty fish. Matt's good. Just caught him a little one. He's good catching a little one on film. He's catching one of those big ones. Watching our line, you got to watch the end of the line. There's a lot of times the rod tip's not even moving. They're hitting it, and the line's just going sideways. And so we've caught all 3 this morning. The tip of the rod never even moved. The line would go to the side and set the hook. And they're giants. Here in Grenada, you never know when you set the hook what the heck is going to be on the other end of this line. We'll show you the picture of this giant crappie. So, hopefully, right along with us here, hopefully you can see this dip neck, get one in the boat. Catch me one, buddy. Show you guys what we're actually using. We're putting a Bobby Garland, either a 2-inch slab slayer or a baby shad or minnow miner. We use a minnow miner. It's a minnow miner and a stroller on here. I don't have any with me, but this blade where you little bitty 32nd ounce head with a big 2-aught hook. Nice nickel hook, strong, it won't bend out for these big crappie. Look at the blades that we're putting on there. I'm putting double, that's a crappie tickler, Bobby Garland crappie tickler on there, and then I'm sliding a giant spinnerbait blade on that. And that's going through the water, and we're putting a tube and a minnow minder, and then a minnow on that. So, little bitty head, but a big profile minnow and a Bobby Garland bait on there. Going through the water real slow, and they are crushing these blades. 2 blades on there, making racket, making flash. We're trying everything, guys. We're trying to be different. Everybody else out here is doing the same thing. Trying to be, you got to find something a little different that the fish will want. Sunrise there. One thing we haven't talked about yet is how we label our rods. Matt, walk them through how you got so much commotion going on up here, guys. A catfish, a wave, hanging in a tree. We label our poles so when I yell at Matt, he knows which one to grab. Walk him through that.
Just like you read a book. You read from left to right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like you read a book. He's got 4. I got 4.
So
scream out 3. Scream out 4. He knows which one to go to. A little bit quicker.
Yep. All day long. He turns around.
Just saying, oh, you're getting a bite. You're getting a bite. You don't know which one to. You got to look at all 4 of them. You know, 1, 2, 4, whatever it is. Makes it just a little bit easier.
A little bit easier.
It's a team effort.
And you want to team out here for sure. So if he's back getting a minnow, I can say Matt 3, he can turn around and go right for the 3rd pole and set the hook. But we'll scream it all day long. All day long. We'll say 1, 2, 3, 4. So little tip we use. Boat control, again, it's everything in this game. You have to have boat control. So I mean you can go out here and just drift across the flat right now. If I can get in here, you can see we are running up this little bitty blue line. The purple is a contour. That blue right there is the main creek channel. Little ditch, secondary creek.
4, 4, 4, 4.
4, 4, 4, 4.
See, just like that, he went straight for number 4.
Lost my minnow. That's how we do it. Not paying attention. I don't have to look. I don't look. I don't do anything. I just went up and grabbed 4. That's all I did. That's what we're supposed to do. Ooh, I hit it. Yeah. Yeah. So when you're trolling up here, guys, you want these poles sitting by themselves. Again, we're using individual rod holders. They have their individual base. They're not touching at all. These are the Captain Coleman Widowmaker is the name of them. Tight lock Widowmakers. And the cool thing about these, guys, you can move them any direction. They got a cam down here. Somebody's already asked us on Facebook what rod holders we use. It's a tight lock Widowmaker, Captain Coleman. They're amazing. Okay, we just finished up Grenada, Mississippi, American Crappie Trail. We didn't get a lot of footage catching fish. It wasn't as easy as we thought. We ran out of GoPro battery and everything else. We caught a lot of fish, a lot of 1.5 fish. I've never seen so many 1.5 fish in my life. Today was last day of tournament. We ended up 3rd place. Nice guy's trophy there. Well, 3rd place. 121 teams, the best trollers in the entire world. Yeah, we can say that. This is the best trollers in the entire world, and we took 3rd. So I think for us, the key to our success down at Grenada was location.
Yep, for sure.
We found the fish that took 1st, 2nd, 3rd place. And if you don't ever find the right fish, we'll never catch them. So I think location is always the #1 key to all crappie fishing. So hopefully this video, you guys will learn some tips, some techniques, something you didn't know about trolling. Matt, did you learn anything about trolling this week?
A lot.
What's the #1 thing you learned, you think, that you could share with these folks?
The one thing, don't be afraid to go fast, #1,
Yeah.
and #2, the whole boat setup. Why there's 2 minnow buckets? Why there's a cooler behind your seat? You know, the culling process, everything like that. As far as, you know, the actual basics of trolling, I don't feel like I learned anything. But as far as the setups go, the speeds, the depths, the location, the culling process and everything, I felt like I learned a lot.
And something we did in this tournament that we preach even when we jig fish, we moved. We made a move the first day that if we wouldn't have made it, we don't know if we'd have had 3rd place. So and we were moving the base. We were looking for active fish. So there you go, guys. A lot more stuff coming up. Bobby Garland TV.